Glad to have you with us here on Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we are going to talk about the possibility of bringing Justin Houston back to Baltimore. Also, a potential signing of a free agent running back to discuss, a Super Bowl champion at that. Also, we will have news on Odafe Oweh that we'll get to coming up at the end of today's show. Before we get to any of that, though, folks, we are very, very close to 10,000 subscribers here on the Ravens Rundown. Less than 140 away from doing so. And here's the deal, folks. The more we continue to grow to this channel, the more content we can bring you. We do live shows from time to time, watch parties for some of the marquee games, and if we continue to grow bigger, we can do more of that stuff, more daily videos here on the channel. Got to get to 10,000 subs, though. Subscribe now for free today, youtube.com/RavensTV. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. You'll be glad you did. Let's get to 10,000 subscribers this week. I believe we can do it. Yes, we can. Let's get after it. Let's start with Justin Houston. And we've talked a decent amount about Justin Houston over the last couple of weeks. And this is really starting to gain steam, some momentum, it would appear. At least it's talking season anyway, as far as bringing Justin Houston back. Now CBS Sports is naming the Baltimore Ravens as the team that needs to sign Justin Houston. They did a whole piece. I highly recommend go looking at it. Playing matchmaker with some of these pass rushers. And they felt like that Houston was the best match to reunite and come back to the Baltimore Ravens. Here's more from Jeff Kerr of CBS Sports. Houston had a good season in Baltimore, having 39 pressures and 9.5 sacks with a 14.6 pressure rate as a situational edge rusher. He had 101 fewer pass rushing snaps than the year before and 5 more sacks, proving he can still get to the quarterback. With a 12.4% pressure rate in Baltimore, 2 seasons, it would make sense for the Ravens to bring Houston back. The Ravens could certainly use a veteran edge rusher who's had success under Mike McDonald. You know, I was thinking about this when it comes to Justin Houston. There has not been a single argument that's been worthy of listening to of why the Ravens shouldn't bring back Justin Houston. I know that I've heard a couple of people say, and I read the comments on the channel, well, he's old. Well, he's beating Father Time. He led this team in sacks last year with 9.5. Okay? So I don't want to hear about him being old. The production is still there with what he did last season. He's a great teammate, a great leader. And then the other factor that some people do bring up is cost. Well, he's not going to cost that much at this point in time either. So to me, it all just makes sense to bring the 4-time Pro Bowler back to Houston for at least one more go-round and see what he's got at this juncture here as far as I'm concerned. I think it makes total sense for Baltimore to do this and bring Justin Houston back. The last 4 seasons for Justin Houston, even as he's in his mid-30s now, the numbers are still very, very good. We mentioned 9.5 sacks last year leading the Baltimore Ravens. But you go back to 2019 with the Indianapolis Colts, he had 11 sacks and 15 tackles for loss. And whether it was in Kansas City or Indianapolis or Baltimore, even the changes of sceneries, the different schemes, whatever it's been, even the age, none of it's been an excuse. Justin Houston has found a way to be an incredible pass rusher, and maybe someday might have a case for the Hall of Fame when it's all said and done, when you factor in that 20-plus sack season he had in Kansas City. So our pinned comment today, should the Ravens re-sign Justin Houston? Your chance to weigh in. Y for yes, in for no. Tell us what you think in the comment section. Should the Ravens re-sign Justin Houston or not? Our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Get your votes in. Let me know. Y for yes, in for no. So, Darrel Williams, a name that you probably weren't expecting us to talk about on today's show, is being recommended by Bleacher Report as a free agent running back that the Ravens should sign. And we've talked for several weeks now about different options that the Ravens have to their disposal of signing somebody to the running back position to add some depth to this group and to have other options and to have in particular a receiving back that plays well to the offense that Todd Monken is installing in Baltimore. So what about Darrel Williams? Here's more from Bleacher Report's Alex Ballantyne and the possibility. Williams' stint with the Arizona Cardinals was a bust. His production was scarce in 6 games, and he finished the season on injured reserve with a hip problem. Still, he was a productive receiving back in Kansas City with 1,110 scrimmage yards in 2021. The Ravens could look to utilize a pass-catching back more often with Todd Monken calling the offense. Williams could be worth a look for this role. I get the narrative that the Ravens need help with the running back position and that they need other guys around. And we've talked about several options for this Baltimore Ravens team. And we know the rumblings are out there about J.K. Dobbins and the uncertainty with his future. But I saw enough from Darrel Williams last year where I'm like, I'm good. This is an odd one to me. Of all the guys you could get out there, Darrel Williams, really? No, I get it. 2021, he was really good as a dual threat with 47 receptions, 552 yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns, and had over 500 yards on the ground. But Darrel Williams last year with what he did in Arizona, to me that's a major red flag here. I would go look at other options. And not to mention, you look at this Ravens running back room, J.K. Dobbins, finally getting healthy. Gus Edwards, sure, he's, maybe not the same player he was a couple of years ago prior to the injury here. But I'm still looking forward to seeing what Keaton Mitchell develops, the UDFA out of East Carolina, what he can bring to the table. He might fill that void potentially. To me, Darrel Williams is just an odd one because he was nowhere on my radar. And I think the Ravens, if they're going to go shopping and try to go find a running back, can do much better than Darrel Williams as far as I'm concerned. Should the Ravens sign Darrel Williams? What do you think about that idea? If you think they should, type S for sign. If not, type P for pass. Let me know what you're feeling one way or the other. S for sign, P for pass. Let me know if you want the Ravens to sign Darrel Williams. Ravens jerseys on sale now at chatsports.com/Ravens jersey. Whether you want to get a current player like a Marcus Williams or a Lamar Jackson, maybe you want to throw it back to Ray Lewis or keep it current with Mark Andrews. Whatever it may be, we have all different types of jerseys in different colors, different shapes and sizes. Whatever you're feeling as a Ravens fan, this is your opportunity to get an awesome jersey of some sorts. And you'll have this in plenty of time for football season, so you can be rocking out with your flock out and looking snazzy. I mean, we know that the Ravens have some fantastic uniforms. So what are you waiting for? This is a great opportunity. You can get yours now. Chatsports.com/Ravens jersey to get yours today. That's chatsports.com/Ravens jersey. Yeah, and speaking of Odafe Oweh, that takes us to our next segment here on Ravens Rundown. Breakout campaign? Bleacher Report has named Odafe Oweh, the former first-round pick, as one of their featured untapped potential players to watch for in 2023. Fascinating, right? Odafe Oweh, untapped potential. Arrow out on this. Let's read what they had to say. Back when Odafe Oweh was getting ready for the draft in 2021, Justice Mosqueda compared him to a ball of clay that needed to be molded in his scouting report. Mosqueda pointed to Oweh's relative lack of experience as a football player, noting that he didn't start playing until his junior year of high school and only played in 20 collegiate games. However, his athletic testing, which included a 4.37 40-yard dash at 6'4", 257 pounds, was off the charts. So it shouldn't come as a surprise that Oweh's production has been uneven through 2 years with the Ravens. Oweh is a great example of why it's important to understand a prospect's background when establishing expectations. McDonald took over the defensive coordinator role in 2022, so Oweh has already had 2 different DCs and is still growing as a player. That tantalizing talent is still there to be molded. I got to tell you this, folks. This is a critical year for Odafe Oweh to get things going. And not just because we're selling his jersey as well, folks. But to me, this is a guy that we know that the talent level is there. And we were just talking earlier about trying to find playmakers on the defense, right? Of possibly bringing back Justin Houston and such like that. And with the Ravens looking to take that next step to join the elites in the American Football Conference, if Odafe Oweh can take that next step himself, then that could be the thing that puts this team over the top. We're looking at the Ravens, I think, folks, are one player away from joining that next class. And that one player could be somebody like Oweh who's already in the organization. Maybe it's not somebody on the outside, but just taking that next step up. The talent's there. It was an all-rookie team selection in 2021. We mentioned former first-round pick. But he hasn't been able to get on the field as much as you would expect for a player picked as high as he was. In 32 games played in his first 2 seasons, he's only had just a few starts, 8 starts in those 32 games. You can see the numbers last year was okay. 43 tackles, 3 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery. Always got something to prove. Let's see if he can have a breakout campaign in 2023. Our final question before we go, will Odafe Oweh have a breakout season? Are you buying or are you selling that possibility? Weigh in the comment section. Tell me what you think. B for buy, S for sell. Is this a breakout year for Odafe Oweh? Tell me in the comment section what you think. B for buy, S for sell. Hit me up on social media. Just got back from a nice weekend in Nashville, so we continue with the Summer of Jones. But we'll be with you all week long talking about your Baltimore Ravens right here on the channel, social media as well. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.